Agent Yumi wields a slingshot, but somehow picks up the same ammo cans as everybody else. In this video, we're going to be looking at Yumi's strengths and weaknesses, go over her kit, and showcase two different Yumi builds. Her initial build that everyone must use, and my personal preferred build. While I may not be the world's #1 Yumi, this guide should be more than enough for you to hit the ground running. Alright, let's start it up. While classes aren't really a thing in Deceive, Yumi is labeled a disruptor. Usually this just means the agent has neutralized, and Yumi does have neutralize, preventing other agents from using their expertise, but she's really the only disruptor with a good area denial expertise, so I think that's where she really leads into that disruptor label. Unlocks in Deceive are locked by the character mastery system. As you play more with Yumi, you'll gain mastery points and mastery levels, and you will unlock things along the way. At levels 2, 6, and 10, you unlock cosmetic rewards. At level 3, the second passive. Level 4, the second expertise. Level 5, the second weapon. Level 7, the final passive. Level 8, the final expertise. And at level 9, the final Yumi weapon. Once you've completed the 10 mastery levels, you move into the long-term progression system known as Echelons. There is 100 Echelons, and it's estimated to take somewhere between 400 to 600 gameplay hours to complete this track. There's a lot of rewards along the way. Notably at levels 10, 50, and 100, there's a unique costume, and at level 30, there's a unique ink. At every level, you gain 20 of the premium currency bonds. Now let's look at Yumi's weapons. They're all slingshots, so we're going to talk about some general slingshot things that are true for all weapons, and then we'll talk about specific weapons. So as slingshots, they actually have 4 different damage numbers. They have the usual body shot and headshot, but they also all charge, so they also have charged body shot and charged headshot, which is similar to what we saw in Ace, but Ace's bonus charge damage was built into her passive, where this is built in directly to the weapon. They all have a mag size of 1 and no reload time. Functionally, it just works out she pulls out a new marble, so they all have a fire rate. The mag size doesn't really matter, and they all have unique charge times. Also, the marble, once it's in the air, is a rather slow moving projectile compared to a lot of the other projectiles. It does have a bit of an arc, so it is a lot harder to aim than a lot of the projectiles, and definitely harder to aim than all of the hit scan weapons in the game. Finally, since it is a projectile, none of Yumi's weapons have any fall off damage on them, so you will be hitting for max damage as long as the marble doesn't hit the ground first. Alright, let's get into the actual about each individual weapons. The first one is the tactical slingshot here. 22 to the body, 34 to the head uncharged, but 34 to the body charged, and 51 to the head on a charged headshot is pretty good. The 0.8 second charge time is a little on the long side compared to what you want it to be. While this does say it's a fire rate of 3.0, you really can't spam 3 shots per second with this. It just functionally doesn't work. So I'm not sure what the actual max fire rate you can fire it, but I know for sure there's no way you're getting 3 marbles a second out of the slingshot. I think the best way to probably use it is to land 3 charged body shots is going to break that 100 damage breakpoint, and you can likely finish up anyone who's not already dead with a quick melee. Obviously, if you land a charged headshot and a charged body shot, that's going to put you at 85, which a quick melee is going to hit that 100, which can also be another sort of combo. I don't think using uncharged shots with this is particularly good unless you like guaranteed the headshot, because that 22 damage means you're going to have to hit like 5 or 6 of them, and you just don't have the time to do that. Even though the charge time is a little long, it's probably worth it for the damage increase, unless you're really confident in your headshots, but then you should just charge anyway because you only need 2 charged headshots. So this weapon, I think, compared to the rest of the cast, hits an okay or like fine tier. It's kind of usable. It's a little difficult to tell where the weapons failures begin and my own inability to aim with the weapons failures begin, but I don't think it's in a great spot right now. And I think a little less charge time or a little faster charge time would go a long way for this weapon. I think it's usable, and it's probably Yumi's best for better or worse. It's almost unfortunate to say that, but I think it's true. So we're gonna move on to the other two. The experimental split shot here is really cool. Once you fire it, the pellets split into a sort of plus shape. You are essentially hitting 5 pellets on the body. That does 5 pellets for 5 damage each. Charge shot a little more for a total of 35 damage. So this is kind of the shotgun version of Yumi's slingshot. Longer charge time of a full second. It says, again, the same rate of fire, but again, I don't think you're getting 3 shots per second out of this. Maybe someone can time it explicitly and tell me I'm wrong, but it feels slower than that for sure. Now this one I think is a little different. Since it's more of a shotgun, we notice there's no headshot damage on this. You're always going to be hitting those 2 damage numbers. Even if one of your pellets hits the head, it doesn't actually do headshot damage. So this one used to be really good at just spamming uncharged shots. If you got, once you got close enough, you should be using this like a shotgun, so long range engagements aren't really your thing. You want to be closing that gap or starting engagements from nearby, and spamming uncharged was a really good way to use this weapon. But right now it just, I don't know if the fire rate's buggy or something, but it doesn't feel like that's really a good way to use it anymore. In fact, it doesn't feel like there's a great way to use this anymore, because getting 10 damage increase for a 1 second charge isn't that good. So you still want to be spamming uncharged shots, I think, if you're using this effectively, but you're gonna have to hit 5 full full shots, and since it does split, it can be difficult to land all the pellets on a target. So I do think this one's kind of okay. If it gets some small buffs or reverts to whatever happened to it recently or semi-recently at this point, this one could once again be kind of even a menace. But at this point, I don't think it's all that great. Finally, we have the heavy long shot, which is the sniper or slow fire high damage version of Yumi's weapons. We can see here the actual uncharged damage of this one compared to the weapon one is lower. If you compare them, only 18 to the body and 30 to the head, which is just lower than we see on the weapon one. But the charged damage is 50 and 80 to the head, which are much higher. But it's compensated with a really long charge time. It's listed as 1.5 seconds there, almost twice as long as this one. So just kind of a really long time to charge. Again, with this one is even more. You probably don't want to be using it to hit body shots unless you're counting the damage really well, which you can do because you tend to be firing pretty slow with this one. A charged body shot is going to hit for 50, another charged body shot for 50. You land a quick melee if they're not already dead. Really good combo there. Or charged body shot for 50, charged headshot for 80, they're dead. You know, that's the combo. You just have to wait a second and a half to recharge your marble or your slingshot in between. This one, I think, also suffers from a really long charge time. If you're playing this and trying to wait for that charge, you can definitely feel it. So I think you're kind of almost fighting all of your weapons, and you got to learn these timings of these charges. I think all of our weapons could probably use a little less charge time to make her really good, because you're fighting a lot of clunkiness to begin with this. And I just don't think any of her weapons are in a great state right now, unfortunately. Let's move on to her expertises, though. These ones are actually pretty cool. This one's kind of, all of her things are kind of unique. We haven't really seen them on any other agent. She kind of equips a different marble for each of her expertise, which is a bit of a downside for her expertise because it links your expertise usage to your fire rate. Since you are just, instead of shooting a normal shot, you're shooting an expertise shot, but it's not in addition to, it's instead of. So you equip a different marble, essentially, a different pellet. And these pellets, if you hit an enemy with them, do significantly less damage than your base weapons shots here. Like, I think it's like 15 or something for all of them. And you can charge them for a little more, but it's really you're not landing these for damage. They unfortunately just don't do the damage over here because they're these alternate pellets with abilities. So let's talk about what they do. So this one's the EMP blast. When it hits either a person or a wall, the floor, whatever you want, it explodes into this giant pink circle we see on screen there. It has a little core in the middle. If you or any rival shoots that core, this effect ends entirely. Anyone in this giant circle is going to get slowed and receive 1 damage per second, which isn't really a lot, but it is enough that it is somewhat noticeable. It also serves the purpose of breaking cover, which the EMP does explicitly list. The EMP fields drain rivals' cover, and it also destroys all gadgets. So someone tries to put down a shield in your bubble, they are just simply unable to. I mean, technically they can, it just breaks instantly. So they can kind of throw their shield away that way, or any other gadget gets destroyed by this as well. So that's what it does. This one's good because slow is good, and Yumi's difficult to hit shots with, at least for me. So the slow makes her easier to hit shots. I don't think the damage over time is really, in a straight 1v1, gonna be that important. In teams mode, it might be a little more, but 1 damage per second isn't a whole lot. I don't think any breakpoints are changing. So that's kind of my opinion on the damage over time. One slightly annoying thing with the damage over time is once Yumi dies, this effect doesn't end. So you can still be taking some damage while that's happening, but it's so little that it's probably not going to matter. This one's really just a big slow, light damage that might matter occasionally. No cover for that whole area, and it will prevent them from using their gadgets, which is quite strong. All in all, I kind of like this expertise. I think the downside that this expertise has is really no different to her other expertise, where it's a marble you have to load and therefore it doesn't do much damage and it's affected by your weapon's fire rate, etc., etc. So I think this one's okay. Moving on to the medi field, this one's kind of the opposite. Instead of throwing this at someone, you throw it at your team or at yourself. This one puts down a healing bubble. It still has that core in the middle that enemies can destroy. This one heals pretty slowly, as we'll see. It's like 5 a second for 20 seconds, so it lasts a really long time. It's something like that. I don't think those are the exact numbers, but it's something like that. It lasts a really long time, but each individual tick of healing isn't that much. And if you get damaged while you're healing in this, it actually pauses that healing for a bit. So if you just put it down and you're getting sprayed down by an automatic weapon, the healing's not really going to affect you. But if you're fighting like a slow firing agent like an ace, you might be able to get away with some healing in between. Might make the difference, but the healing is so slow that it probably won't. So it's important with this one to like duck behind a corner, and that's also important because you want to hide the core to prevent enemies from just stopping your healing that way. So you may want to duck around a corner or throw it behind some cover just to get more healing out of it. This one I think is okay in teams because you're healing 3 or 2 people. In solos, the healing feels really, really slow right now. And you're just investing a lot of time in healing if you're using it purely for the healing. If you're using it to like survive 1v1 fights, it might heal enough, but that's super situational. Depends who you're fighting, shots hit, miss, all the things. So I personally would rather the EMP right now for the slow. I don't think the heal's that worth it in solos, but if you're healing 2 or 3 people with it, then I think the value goes up double or triple. All right, moving on to Nano Storm. Nano Storm is technically new, but also not new. It's a little bit weird, but it's kind of like the EMP. This is interesting in that you get 3 of them. So when you hit the button, your next 3 shots are going to be the other pellet, the Nano Storm pellet. Unless you turn it off early, in which case you can do 1 and then turn it off. And then you get some cooldown back, but you don't get to use it again until it's back to 100%. So if you watch the Vigil guide or know Vigil, it's actually kind of the same as Vigil's expertise that way. They all have ammo, except this one doesn't use the cool ammo thing that Vigil has. I think they should probably update this to use the same like visuals, but it works pretty much the same way. So this is a EMP. It also destroys gadgets. You can see the EMPs are a lot smaller, but you get 3 of them. It does not slow and does not deal damage. Instead, this one has neutralize on it and has the added effect where if you hit someone directly with it, it sticks to them. So they can't walk out of it to get unneutralized. It's stuck to them, and they can potentially walk it into their teammates if you're in the team mode. So it can be pretty strong. It's just really clunky to use. It has the same issues of the equip thing I talk about with all of these, where you have to equip it and therefore you can't do a regular shot. So unfortunately, it just doesn't do full damage. Yeah, so I think this one's good, except for the clunkiness of, usually, especially in solos, you really only want to use this maybe once, so you need to turn it on, throw it out, and then turn it off again manually, because you don't want to fire the 2 other shots, because those are just less damage than firing 2 regular shots. And if you hit your first shot directly or even near, since it is a bubble, that you've probably got enough value out of it to use. In trios and duos, I think the big EMP is probably better with its slow and its damage. If you really see someone in lobby you need to neutralize, I'm not totally sure it's worth it, because you got to fight a team, not just one person, but maybe it is. So yeah, not a huge seller. I don't like this one too much. I'd rather the Medifield personally, and above that, even the EMP blast. So those are my thoughts on these. I think this one's good. This one's kind of okay. It did just receive nerfs, so I might be being a little harsh on it. And this one's not quite there for me. And finally, her passives. So we have the quick fix. This passive's really easy. A lot of gadgets in the game break. There's a couple that don't, which we're going to talk about. We'll talk about this a little more in the gadgets section, but any gadget that does break and you can reload or comes back 50% faster. So you just get more gadgets. This plays really well. Again, we'll talk more about these with gadgets, but any gadget that breaks, you just get to use more of. So this is pretty strong with any gadget that breaks. Energy Catalyst here is whenever Yuumi breaks a gadget, or specifically destroys a gadget, you get some of your expertise cooldown back. Now, this does not work if you recycle your own gadget, by which I mean when you hold your reload key, if you throw your bounce pad out and you can no longer reach it, and you pull out the little Palm Pilot or whatever it is, the makeup kit thing, and you hold whatever your reload key is and it destroys it, that does not count for this expertise, or for this passive. And doing that will not get you the expertise cooldown, but if you melee your own bounce pad or shoot a marble at your own bounce pad, that does count as destroying a gadget, and this will trigger these energy catalyst. So this one's kind of not good. More expertise on Yuumi isn't all that needed. Destroying gadgets isn't all that something you can control, which makes this kind of bad. But one really cool thing to shout out is the tripwires. Since you have 6 tripwires, it's technically the most like gadgets per gadget slot, if that makes sense, because you have 6 of them. So if you have a really powerful expertise, or you really want your heal bubble up, is a good example. You could use your heal bubble. It goes on cooldown. You can throw out like 2 of your own tripwires, throw a melee at them, or throw a an elbow is Yuumi's melee at them, and you will get, I think with 2 of them, I think it's 100% of your cooldown back, even though they're your own gadget. As long as you didn't recycle them and you're actually destroying them via melee or shooting them, then yeah, you can kind of keep your expertise at 100% uptime, or at least always have it to throw out with this and some tripwires usage, which is kind of funny, but I don't know if any of your expertises are good enough that you need them up every single time, or just long enough cooldown that you need them up every single time. All right, finally we have the booby traps. The booby traps are probably my new favorite. They recently weren't, they didn't even change. We just got new gadgets that work with booby trap, and it's kind of cool. But basically, when Yumi destroys a gadget, and this does actually work with the recycle we talked about earlier, you holding the reload button on your own gadget, it will trigger the booby trap. I don't know why it's different, but these essentially make a mini version of your expertise 1 wherever that exploded. So the slow, the damage over time, the no gadgets, and the destroying gadgets, and the no cover in these like mini EMP fields it makes. So this is pretty cool with a couple things. Tripwires is here in the video, and that kind of makes sense. Someone triggers your tripwire and needs to break your tripwire to get past it. Suddenly there's an EMP in their face instead. But what really put this over the edge for me, and actually made it my favorite one, is the new DI gadget, the cameras that do stick to people. So this is kind of like you get 2 of those cameras, so it's kind of like having 2 extra expertises ish, but it's also like a free spy check because using that camera doesn't break your cover. So you can throw out the camera and then recycle the camera to just get this booby trap on a person, or as a spy check, because it doesn't break you out of cover and the camera sticks to NPCs, which is really good. You can also do a similar thing with the drone, and you always could, but I find that the DIs really put that over the edge. I'll probably repeat some of this during the gadget section. But yeah, this one's quickly become my favorite to use with a couple specific gadgets. Otherwise, I just use quick fix, because getting even just my bounce pad, if it's the only breakable I'm using, back quicker is really good. While no gadgets are necessarily agent specific, we'll call out things that combo with Yumi, which since she's kind of the gadgeteer and most of her passives interact in some way with gadgets, I think all of them can do something with her. So we'll talk about them a bit, but we'll probably not go too in depth. But bounce pad, we're just going to talk about anything affected by her quick fix right now. So bounce pad, yes. Shield, yes. Turret, yes. Goo pods, yes. Hack traps, no. Tripwire, yes. DIs, yes. Spyglass, no. Drone, yes. Bait box, yes. Signal scrambler, yes. And hollow mimic, no. Those are all the things affected by her passive 1, the quick fix. Let's talk about her passive 3, the booby trap. Tripwire, as we mentioned, if someone steps on your tripwire, or if someone breaks your tripwire, they end up with a booby trap in their face. If someone steps on your tripwire and you are pretty quick on the timing, you could recycle that tripwire and catch them with it. They're already out of cover though, so you're not providing too much value there. We call it the DIs and the drone specifically, kind of similar ideas with these. You shoot the DI at someone or fly the drone into someone you think is a spy, you recycle it, it explodes into a mini EMP. If they are a spy, they're knocked out of cover, they're slowed, they take a little bit of damage, and can't use their gadgets until they move out of that bubble. It's pretty strong. The turret here, although most of the time I don't find rivals shooting the turret, since the agent shooting at you tends to be higher priority. If you can get it so that, or if someone chooses to destroy your turret and you have the booby trap, the turret will just become a booby trap, which can be pretty powerful. And just like the bounce mat, again, if you're running away from someone, you can bounce up somewhere and then recycle your bounce mat behind you, which means they can't use their bounce mat in that area. Now, sometimes this is valuable if it's a small area, sometimes it's not so valuable if it's a big area. But there we go. I think that's mostly it. Oh, the signal scrambler, last one here. Signal scrambler can be pretty annoying if you have it out and on and preventing someone from doing something they want to do. They might come over and destroy it, and boom, booby trap in their face. I think that's everything for the booby traps. Passive 2, I think really it's the tripwires. You may be able to get away with it with the new DI, but really the goal with that one, and I think the only way to use it, is to get a gadget you can put 2 of something down, which is pretty much just the tripwire or the DIs, and then shoot them or melee them to get your expertise back quickly. So I think that's really the only use, and I think we did mention every single gadget. So while none combo specifically with Yumi, they all do in some way or another, and we're not really a gadget guide here, so We won't talk about combat ones so much, but really with quick fix, I usually go with these two over here. Just because they're both affected by the quick fix. With the passive 3, I like to pick up the DIs and the bounce mat, and with the passive 2, I like to grab the tripwires and probably the bounce mat there. Those are my picks. Let's talk field upgrades here. Expertise cooldown depends on how much you value Yumi's expertise. If you want her EMP up every fight, you probably want some of this, maybe at this level. If you're using the expertise cooldown passive, you maybe don't need this, but that's a decision thing. I think this one's really a how much do you want the expertise up specifically for Yumi. So I won't say don't use it. I won't say you should use it. I think it's something you kind of have to feel out. Extended ammo pouch on Yumi, I think is generally not all that great. You tend to have a lot of ammo as long as you're hitting your shots. I think you're probably going to die before you run out of ammo or if you're missing. So I don't really like this, but it might have value in teams mode where there's just less ammo to go around. We usually call it cover accelerators, generally good. Getting back into cover faster is generally a good thing, and I think that's really it for things that combo with Yumi. Maybe you might want, if you're taking heal bubble, you might not want necessarily these two, since you can kind of get out of combat healing with your heal bubble. It's just going to take longer and it's going to show a big bubble and you'll break your cover at least a little bit, but it might have some replacement. I don't think it'd be enough for me to not take at least one of these, but I did want to shout that out. And exfiltration scanner is just generally a bad chip to take, and you really shouldn't be taking it in any situation. And before we get into our showcases here, let's review the build. Our initial build will of course be the weapon one, expertise one, and passive one. This is actually pretty much my personal preferred build as well, unless I'm using the booby traps as a more fun build, which is also pretty good, but this is my preferred weapon and expertise right now, and then I flip back and forth on the passives. But we will show off the heavy long shot in our preferred build and the heal bubble, so it's different, and I believe we will show off the booby traps there. Now, we are sort of limited on this because we are using the base gadgets, which are the bounce pad spyglass, so our booby traps are not as good as they could be since we really only have the bounce mat, so I may not take it. I'll shout it out right at the start of the video. I'm still kind of deciding, or start of the showcase for the preferred build. So we might just rely on quick fix because we only have one gadget where booby trap could even work. All in all, I think Yumi's in a pretty rough spot right now. She's pretty difficult to play and learn and aim with, and her weapons just don't seem like they do enough to compensate. Not that difficult to play should be a balancing thing, but I think in general her weapons are a little weak. So with that in mind, let's go right to our showcases. All right, our initial Yumi build here, we got Silver Reef, which will be a little interesting. It's kind of well known for its fights and third parties, and I won't pretend that I'm good enough at Yumi to survive any of those things. Okay. But we'll see what we can do. I think we'll duck downstairs. There's a gray here, and also sometimes someone like spawns. We already got our gray though, so it doesn't matter. Good thing I didn't double up on that. And take a little look around in case anyone's looking really sus down here. Don't see it yet though. Oop, I hear a fight. I kind of just want to go back the way we came towards B. Just go. Keep our gun out, as it were, and try to get into B here. Okay, so my strategy here is gonna be to, if I'm ambushing someone, if I got the drop on someone, I'm gonna land a charged marble, and then we're gonna throw the EMP because it's gonna slow them and do a little bit of damage. And then we'll try to land marbles after that. We did hear, I thought that door opened, but that doesn't mean a lot. If we can find another 3 intel in this room, which we can. There's a big computer right in front of me. Whoop. Whoops. Which, not trying to shoot that guard. I just misclicked and couldn't fix it. There we go. Grab some more ammo.
Look for another
Okay.
possible
Oop,
vault token.
another fight. That's a cav. I hope the cav... I think that's cav on cav violence, which makes one less cav in the game, which I think is good for us.
Aha.
That's a Lyson. If the Lyson finishes off the cav, it's still good for us. We're too far away to do anything. It's like above our heads, but the pathing means we can't get there. So we'll just grab our expertise cooldown chip and hopefully our health chip out there and be on our way.
So much power. Go, go. Go do your thing, little one.
Okay, we got it all there. That was actually not bad. That was kind of how I drew it up. We landed the charge shot, EMP, and then another actual charge shot.
Must be nice to have others do your job.
I thought that Lyson was upstairs, but maybe that was the same one. We're missing 3 in health, which, like, I kind of want to heal, but speed is a thing we have to worry about. Doug's apparently lost another one. That's definitely right above our heads, because we just saw the red kiss come through the floor. That's definitely the player, right? I should have just grabbed the thing.
Oh well, not my problem.
Whoever estimated for a surprise.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm heartbroken. Totally by accident, I'm now heartbroken. Oh boy.
Health critical.
Oh boy. Okay.
Not my problem anymore.
I have to clean here.
All right. Sit. Heal. Whew. Okay, I didn't think... So what happened there with the charm and the heartbroken is I already had a thing charged. So when she charmed me, I like released and it fired it. And that's how I got instantly heartbroken there. Okay, well, we've killed 2 people, which honestly is 2 more people than I expected to kill with Yumi, so I'm in the wrong outfit. But that's okay. We'll just go this way.
Vault terminal located.
Okay. And
This
there we
vault
go.
terminal has been
And we can just take the
expertly
secret
deactivated.
exit out. We are going to need a guard outfit to get into the vault, but we'll worry about that as we get a little bit closer. Fire extinguisher. Yeah, let's, I think, come on. Come on, buddy. I don't even want to be here. I'm trying to go this way.
Security equipment.
Okay. We'll be really sus and sprint right in. We'll even throw a couple jumps in just to make sure if anyone's following us, they know. I'm trying to like look backwards to be safe, but I keep running into walls. It's not working out. We did end up... Oh, okay. I was gonna say we should get a deep printer, but there's one like right here, so... Yeah. Can't really pass up that printer. But we have the outfit and the key card, so normally I'd go looking for a little bit of a deeper printer.
That was easy.
Make use of our like advantages we already have. But
Thank you.
this does let us top up on intel and stuff. There should be more down here if we look. Yeah.
What? So easy.
And out of here. That was pretty quick, all things considered. We'll grab this while we're running. Just it'll waste one intel because we can't hold it, but and we'll invest the bounce pad because we are Yumi with the quick fix, as we talked about. So that bounce pad comes back twice as fast. Yeah, it's basically back already. So using that there is really almost no loss. By the time this is done and we get out of here, we'll have it back.
What was the important part again?
2 people and they're way over there. Means they're probably way up in what we call the donut section.
Anyone can do this.
Ping. All right, now we have to make our way out the tunnels, which isn't too bad.
Rival agent detection mode.
Oh, now I only see one person. That's a cav. Cavs scare me, especially on Yumi. I think that's a vigil also is the other one. And we really don't want a vigil to come up behind us.
Mode started.
Oh, that was bad.
The warranty is valid.
Oh, that was also bad.
Quit faking it.
Okay, that cav was less scary than expected. Where'd the vigil go?
Engaged.
Oh. Oh, we missed. Okay, good.
Don't get
I
up.
knew that 4th shot there was gonna kill. We hit three charge shots. Means a 4th shot of any kind was gonna kill, and we missed it. Now we got scared. But we made it work actually way better than I thought we would. My aim was a little on point with this one Yumi build. So the passive didn't really do a ton, but with only the bounce pad to use it on, it's, you know, we used the bounce pad once, I think, and it worked. So it was okay, but I think if you use a gadget that, you know, there are 2 gadgets that have a callback time
Good
like
job,
that,
you. Oh,
then
thanks,
it's a
me.
lot better. But yeah, we'll do our preferred build here next, and or I guess alternate build here next. And all right, we got sound eclipse here for our preferred build, preferred in quotes there. Also, shout out to me not having the exemplar gold Yumi costume because she's the only character I don't have past Echelon 10. So we've gone with a nice pink outfit
Do
here.
you think fit would you look at that?
Okay, we did spawn near C, which I tend not to like C, but going in early is probably better than later. So let's get as much intel as we can. I do like to use my spyglass on these ones because they are really frustrating sometimes. Come on, just get the door. There we go. Grab one of these. And Doug, I crossed the threshold. You're supposed to be mad. Oh my gosh, he's just... Fine, we'll just do it this way. As long as no one comes in, it's fine.
Whoa, look at me.
So, one of the, like, downsides with Yumi here and using our specific guide parameters of base gadgets, base build is Yumi's, I don't want to say gadget dependent, but all of her passives really interact with gadgets. So, our quick fix we have again, and that's just going to make our bounce pad come back faster. But my other favorite one is the booby trap, which would involve us throwing a bounce pad at someone. So it's not really worth it to take that for these specific gadgets. So we were a little limited with our choices on Yumi here. But we did get the first terminal done eventually. And we are gonna get out of there. We're not even gonna go back for the health chip because I just want to get out of this area. Yeah, okay. Someone literally probably spawned and opened that gray safe. So I just don't want to be in that area anymore. All right, we are gonna gamble first. There's almost no chance of us. Yeah.
That feels
Oh,
good.
oh.
Go, special pellet, go.
What? Melee. There we go.
Don't get up. I'm just taking your stuff.
Okay, so the poison there kind of sucked because our healing did nothing, but it sounds cool. It does last a long time now, as you can see. There's a recent change, and we can sit here for a moment to get the rest of our HP back. Yeah. Okay. Well, we did talk about someone probably spawned and grabbed that gray, and I guess we found who that was. Let's head over to the E and D area. I don't think our second shot that landed was charged, because I think if it was charged, they died. Because we hit one headshot, which would have been like 80. So that's the thing with this one, is it takes a long time to charge, and I have to get used to it. We did get a nice keycard out of it, and I'm glad we didn't actually lose the fight. But we probably should have just gone for like... Okay, I think we're safe. We probably should have gone for just like a charged melee after we landed the headshot. Both are gone, wow. Alright, we are going to go out the way we came in, because there's a chance the other side's hack trapped and we don't need to give up that much intel / information. And if this was re-hack trapped, that gives us information as well. It was. We can see it flashing there. Shoot. Okay, I think that means it's neither of these Dougs. So I stood on top of the other Doug there, because I knew the hack trap was going to go off, and once it did, we would have got some intel. Whoa! That was insane. We gotta keep getting out of here, though. There was someone behind us. This is a bad idea, but I think it's my idea. We'll just get our cover back. We'll use this to heal. Okay. There we go. Well, we got a really good visual on how the heal bubble works. Oh, it did go through that. I mean, I knew it went through the wall. It's just, we kind of had to. I didn't want to risk going away. I kind of want to bounce pad up. In the interest of speed, it didn't take me up enough. All right. Now I just look foolish. Go this way then. Since we have the quick fix and this comes back so fast. Oh, we didn't charge it. Oh, we charged it and it was bad. The sound eclipse thing where we just eat all the food. Oh, all right. At least we're not like dead yet. But we are gonna have to chill for a minute again. Or we could go for food. There's food around. Let's do it this way. There we go. That's pretty much how I usually play Yuumi, missing a bunch. There's a printer like right under us, but I don't think we can make it there before it's done. Even though we do have good key cards.
Look at me, I'm a smarty pants.
I'm skipping that printer because the only chance we have is to stop whatever print is currently ongoing. Which looks like it's that guy. Oh, we missed.
Whoever enters this is in for a surprise.
I'm watching that door, but they could have gone to this one as well. Okay.
Need this. Don't mind if I do.
Oh, we got punched in the face. Well, I think that was about as good as the Yuumi preferred build as we were gonna get, so... Yeah, we missed a couple shots there. We hit them with 2 charge shots, which was decent, but they healed in between, which we kind of knew they would. But that's my Yuumi skill on display, and also just the clunkiness of that weapon. It just takes so long to charge. I'm a little surprised we even got the 3 kills. Yeah, I think it showed off the build, even though we didn't win the game, and that's fine. Let's quit to the menu here and we'll do a quick outro.
I was born
Yeah, so we saw Yumi in her full glory there. This was our last guide here, so if you have any Yumi tips, feel free to put them in the comments. If these guys have helped you out or you're interested in gameplay commentary videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you are interested, I will see you in the next one.